Pregame.com.
Hello and welcome to Pregame.tv. I'm Brady Kannon, and it is Masters Week. What a week it is. We have the Easter holiday, and the Masters ushers in the spring season with the first golf major of the year. And what a major it is. The Augusta National Golf Club, maybe the finest golf course in the entire world. It actually ranked the second hardest golf course on the PGA Tour last year. It'll test every bit of skill these players have. And boy, what a year we've had on the PGA Tour this season. Tiger, of course, has not been around with injury and whatnot, but if you're paying attention, there are some outstanding players, and they have dotted the leaderboard all season long. If you take a look at who has won tournaments so far in 2015 on the PGA Tour, you could make an argument that that would be the leaderboard come Sunday at the Augusta National for the Masters. We started off with Patrick Reed and Jimmy Walker in Hawaii, Brandt Snedeker at Pebble Beach, Jason Day in San Diego, Brooks Koepka in Phoenix, Bill Haas in La Quinta for the Humana Challenge. We went over to Florida for the Florida Swing. Padraig Harrington got a victory. Dustin Johnson won at Doral. Jordan Spieth won the Valspar. And then most recently in Texas, Jimmy Walker again and J.B. Holmes. You could really say that all of these guys could be in contention at the Masters. Been a wonderful season on the PGA Tour, like I say. So I expect the first major of the year will be equally as good. Not only do you have some of these younger guys winning tournaments, but then you have the regulars. Tiger, of course, is back in the mix. Phil Mickelson, of course, will be there. Fred Couples always seems to play well at the Masters despite his age. Vijay Singh has been playing well, a former Masters champion. It should be a great tournament. And what we're going to look at in this video is what are some of the things it takes to win at Augusta? What have we seen in the past that contributes to winning the Masters? And then we'll have a couple of picks, a head-to-head matchup play, and also my pick for the winner of the 2015 Masters. First of all, what it takes to win at this golf course. It's about 7,500 yards, a little bit under 7,500 yards. In 2008, they really changed the golf course. They Tiger-proofed it, as they say, after he had won a couple and was really overpowering the golf course. They changed things. And in the past, the Masters was a lot about driving distance and putting. And while that is still true, when they made the changes in 2008, it really became more of a ball striker's course as well. They lengthened it. They made some things more difficult because of the lack of rough that the Masters used to have. You used to be able to be a long hitter and not necessarily be that accurate and get away with it. Well, that has changed. There is a little bit of a rough cut now off the edge of the fairway. Not a big, huge cut that'll interrupt your swing like the U.S. Open will, but it is a different Masters golf course than it was in the past. So ball striking comes more into play, but long driving and putting is still incredibly important, as is scrambling. And scrambling has always been important. And if you're not familiar with scrambling, that's getting up and down from around the greens. And if you've seen the greens at Augusta National, they have those shaved off rolling hills areas that roll into collection areas. If you miss the green in the wrong spot, it's going to roll off these areas. Very tight lies. You have to have a tremendous amount of creativity and a deft touch to get up and down from these areas around the greens. So if you want to look at four areas, take a look at driving distance. There's been a lot of big hitters that have won the Masters and put on that green jacket come Sunday. You want to look at putting. These are some of the fastest greens the players will see on tour all year, and they have a great deal of undulation. You don't get to see all the hills and the elevation change, not only on the greens, but in the course when you're watching on TV. But it truly does have a lot of up and down and undulation in the greens. Now, imagine putting on a very fast surface when you've got all those quirky breaks and mounds to putt over. It gets very difficult. So you've got to be an excellent putter and be able to avoid the three putts. Scrambling, I mentioned, and then ball striking, which is a relatively newer factor at Augusta. Not so much as it was in the past, but ball striking will be paramount as well this week. If you look at some of the past winners and some of the strengths, you have ball strikers in Nick Faldo, Fred Couples, Ben Hogan. Okay, multiple Masters wins between these gentlemen. If you look at the great putters, Ben Crenshaw won twice. Jose Maria Olazabal. Also great drivers of the golf ball, the long hitters. Tiger, when he burst onto the scene, he was blowing it past everybody. Vijay Singh was a long hitter back in his day and still hits it pretty far. And, of course, the new Masters king, Bubba Watson, who's won 2 out of the last 3 years. He bombs the ball I believe number 3 on tour right now in driving distance. And then the scramblers. You've got Seve Ballesteros, who was a magician around the greens, and Phil Mickelson, of course, we know about his short game, and in his day, in year 2000, year 2008, Tiger Woods was number 1 on tour in scrambling as well. So take those factors into your handicap when you're trying to break down the Masters, and you ought to come up with a pretty good player if he's good in all those areas. Now, I want to take a look at a matchup. As you know, they have individual matchups, one player versus another. These are set by the odds maker, and you can find them at any sports book here in town. For the Masters, you'll find almost 100 of them. There's tons of them, but I've picked one out here. This is a full tournament head-to-head matchup, and we've got a free pick on this one for you. Okay, this is for the full tournament. They also have just single round matchups, but this is indeed for the full tournament. I like to do the full tournament matchups because I feel it takes the full handicap of that player into account. Playing just one round is like trying to bet 1/4 of a football game where you're not really getting the full complement of that team's ability or lack thereof. I'm going to take a look at Kevin Na, lives here locally in Las Vegas, practices at a lot of the local courses here in town. And he's going up against Shane Lowry from Ireland. Na is currently a favorite of about -125. And I'm going to go with Kevin Na in this matchup. He's really arguably been the hottest player in the world right now, probably next to Jordan Spieth. Kevin Na has been playing very, very well, had a few top 10 finishes in the last 3 or 4 weeks. His game is really on fire, and the stats wouldn't necessarily tell you so. He doesn't hit the ball a tremendous amount of length. He is not terribly accurate off the tee, but he does score tremendously well. He is a very good putter, and he's an excellent scrambler, and that's what he's got in the stats over Shane Lowry. Now, most of all, why I'm going against Lowry here, A, you've got Kevin Na, very hot player, but B, this is Lowry's very first trip to Augusta, and that does not bode well for Masters rookies. The last Masters rookie to win was 1979 Fuzzy Zoeller. No first-timer has ever won since. So that's your matchup pick, Kevin Na, -125 over Shane Lowry. Now, secondly, we want to also do a free pick for who's going to win the thing, right? That's most important. If we can figure that out. I'm not a huge futures player because it is so hard to choose just one guy out of 100 to 150 players who is going to win the golf tournament. But I always like to do it for the majors, and the Masters is probably one of the easier majors to do it because you have a smaller field. Now, again, picking the winner is never easy, but you do have a condensed field and less to choose from. You can almost wipe away the first-timers, as I mentioned, going against Shane Lowry in the matchup. A first-timer is likely not to win this thing, and you're going to get the cream of the crop players here typically that are going to win. You're going to have one of those guys typically that is high on the board in terms of the favorites. You're not going to really have many long shots typically that are going to be real successful at Augusta because how difficult the course is, because of how much pressure mounts on you down the stretch on Sunday, because of the stage that you're on. These first-timers and these guys that are relatively new to playing the Masters, it is such a stage, there's so much pressure that the nerves really get to them. So I'm going to take a look at a guy that has been tremendous at Augusta. In 3 of the last 4 years, he has 2 top 5s and a 20th finish. He has a win this year. He has a 4th at Pebble Beach. He won at Torrey Pines, and that is Jason Day, the Aussie. He has a 2nd place finish here at Augusta, a 3rd place finish here, and then, like I say, last year a 20th. He did have to withdraw one year when his wrist was bothering him. Take a look at some trends of what the winners at Augusta have. Each of the past 15 winners have made the cut the year before. Jason Day made the cut last year. The past 23 major winners had at least one top 10 finish in that same year. He has 2. He has a victory and a 4th at Pebble Beach. The past 7 winners at Augusta were in the top 60 in driving distance, averaging at least 290 yards off the tee. Jason Day averages close to 300 yards, maybe a couple yards more. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but he is up there in the top 20 in driving distance. He fits the criteria. I like his game coming in. Pebble Beach is often a good indicator for success at Augusta because it's a major venue, as is Torrey Pines, a former host of the U.S. Open. Jason Day I'm going with for your 2015 Masters winner. And that's going to do it pretty much for our Masters preview. I will have some picks up in a premium package on pregame.com. You can go to my Cappers page there. Those will be up this evening and first thing Wednesday morning for you to check out. And then also, if you didn't know, I also run a company here where we make tee times for people coming to Las Vegas and need golf reservations. And you can find that at lvteatimes.com. Again, if you're coming out here and you want to play a couple rounds of golf, get in a late afternoon, 9, whatever it is, give us a holler, look us up online. Again, that's lvteatimes.com. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the Masters. We'll see you next time. It's pregame.tv.